Hi class, this is Dr. Halstead again. I got a bit behind when I was at the national conference and am getting caught up. So as far as I know, I have everything except the papers you turned in Saturday. So you're doing well, and we have 2 weeks to go. So hang in there and keep doing your best. I'm impressed with the work I'm seeing. One thing about last week, and then I'll talk about the coming assignments. Just one thing I wanted to point out. There was a discussion question regarding the unique ethical issues that are that MFTs have. And some of you got it, a lot of you missed it, but and a lot of you named ethical issues that aren't unique to us, that are common to all therapists. And what that question was trying to get at was, as systems therapists, as systems theorists, we see the whole system and we deal with multiple people at a time. It was asking for what are the unique issues that we deal with that can be ethical issues. And so it was asked in light of the discussion on affairs and some of the partner violence. And because that is typically, we are the only therapists who would be seeing the couple. But also in terms of seeing families, there's just issues that we are the only ones who have to face those issues. So, and I put this on your comments, but one is the issue of how do you hold the confidence of multiple people at the same time. And we see the relationship as the client, so we try not to hold secrets between the different participants in the session. But there are times, as the readings alluded to, that there are affairs going on, or as you're walking down the hall, one of the clients will say something to you real quick, and don't tell so-and-so. And it puts you in a bit of a bind because your desire is for the healthiest outcome for the whole system. And they're kind of putting you in a situation where you're basically siding with them, regardless of what it is, when you hold something in a secret like that. So really the best thing to do is address it in your consent form at the beginning of therapy, that because there's more than one of us, I cannot maintain secrets, and if you do choose to tell me a secret, I will ask you to tell your partner in the next session, or something to that effect. And sometimes they do anyway, and then you have to decide what you're going to do. But that really cuts out a lot of that type of situation. And then the second, of course, and this is really hard, and we're going to be talking about it this coming week, but how in the world do you stay neutral when you're dealing with more than one person? And it is rare that you don't feel more of a connection with one of the people than the other. So, and that might be some transference on your part. Maybe there was some situation with your father or your mother, or they're dealing with some issue that really gets under your skin, or you've had a personal history with. And some of you mentioned this in terms of intimate partner violence, that you've had some experience with that personally, unfortunately, and wondering how you'll deal with that. So part of the unique dilemmas for us is figuring out how whether or not we really feel neutral, how to appear as if we do. And that's really more what it is than actually us being neutral, because we are human and we're going to just have times where we have values that connect more with one person than the other, or different things. So, wanted to make sure you're aware that in this profession, in this field, marriage and family therapy, those are unique to us and no other counselor, unless they are seeing more than one person. And then typically they haven't addressed that in their ethics courses because they're not expecting to be seeing more than one person, or they haven't thought through those issues ahead of time. So just be aware of that. A couple big things coming up. The discussion. You take a look at the worksheet, and each of you need to turn in your own worksheet, recording the discussion between your members. Be sure to follow the instructions I put on the announcement. Recording who you're talking with and when you started and how that was and what day, etc., etc. Just follow those. And then be sure to include your personal reaction. So on that form, that you don't need references, so don't worry about that. But let me say one thing about the citations and references. Some of you are still neglecting to put citations in your posts. You cite a reference at the bottom of the post, but you're not including the citation. If you are taking material from a reference, you need to cite that within the post. That's to avoid plagiarism. It's not good enough to just put the reference at the bottom. You need to cite it in the post. And read the material. That's what I'm looking for, and it's fairly obvious when you have read the material. You are answering in a way that's getting at what the material is saying, and that's what I want. So that's coming up this week, and then the last thing is the presentation that you're doing. Take a stab at videoing it in advance, and then don't wait until the very last minute to turn it in, because you may have problems and it may take Canvas a little bit to get to you. So post it ahead of time. It's not a long PowerPoint, 10 to 15 slides. You do need to have references, and I need to see you presenting the PowerPoint. That's what the assignment calls for. So if you're very clever with technology and can figure out how to put your head in the PowerPoint, good for you, and that's wonderful. I don't know how to do that and don't know how to tell you, but some of the students did it in the last class in the spring. So, but hopefully you'll be able to understand the sheet that Canvas put together with the explanation for that. So take care. You're doing well. We're almost to the end. And I just really have appreciated the thoughtful responses, and you're showing a lot of insight, and I'm glad you're coming into this profession. If you live near Atlanta or can get there next year, I encourage you to try to come to the national conference. They're really very well done, and it helps you feel connection to your profession. And as a student, you can volunteer and come at a much lower rate. So, hope to see you there, and take care. Bye.